Welcome back, you guys. I'm FC, and in today's News Daily video, I'll be speaking about the latest surrounding Jeremy BOGA and a potential return back to the club. I'm going to be speaking about Ruben Loftus-Cheek and the latest surrounding his fitness report. And to end things, I'm going to focus on the Evening Standard's big report talking about summer transfer plans, obviously in the summer. But you guys, if you do like today's video, remember to smash that like button, help me get over 1,500 likes. Remember to press the bell notification button as well to stay updated to all the video releases as well. And you guys, on that point, we get straight into things, starting with the first story for today, and that's in regards to Jeremy BOGA. Now, earlier today, Sassuolo's managing director, Giovanni Carnavelli, had this to say about Jeremy BOGA and the club. Chelsea can redeem him in June. We have excellent relationships with them. We have met them before Christmas, also for other operations. What other operations? Maybe potential players to sign on loan for next season? Who knows? Because we like how we did with Barcelona to have a collaborative relationship. They can take it back, but we can also do an operation together. We can take it back. There is total openness. Now, of course, this is very positive news to hear. This season in Serie A, Jeremy BOGA is having an absolute mad season, scoring some incredible goals, some incredibly high performing attacking stats as well, and he's showing that he's one of the best young players in Serie A at this moment in time. And his recent goals have been out of this world, and when you look at the player, he definitely is someone that has even more to his game. He can find a new level. And I really think that with his buyback release clause at 50 million euros for a player of his abilities, even if you don't want to keep the guy, you still have to sign him back just so you can flip him over. Similar to what Real Madrid did with Alvaro Morata. But for me, I think with BOGA, with this team, he could really be the player we need. Now, I like players that like to compete for the first spot. I don't really tend to like when squads have players that are clearly not anywhere near as good enough to do anything in the first team when they're given the opportunities to play. I think it's best when you have players that are around the same level trying to fight for that position, because due to competition, that's how they push each other on to really grow and improve their game. You know, Jeremy is a player that's been rated very highly at this club for a long time. It was no surprise why he got his first loan move at 17 years old. But unfortunately, BOGA really realised what football can be like if things don't always go in your favour. Some of his loan clubs have been absolutely terrible, and I'll give you guys an example. When he went to Granada, I was really excited because it's like, okay, Granada, he wasn't playing as much at Rennes. Granada in La Liga, where the league and the style of football could suit the player more. This could really bang, this could be interesting. I was doing an absolute madness, you guys. I actually signed up to Bet365 just so I could watch games of Granada when they weren't going to be aired on Sky. But I kind of felt like it was all for nothing in the end, because at times BOGA wasn't playing. But I think the main thing was just how awful, how terrible Granada were. Absolutely awful, I really mean it. The quality of player just wasn't good enough. And, you know, we're fans that support a big team. And I think at times we can take supporting big teams for granted because we take the level, the quality for granted. I'm telling you guys, smaller clubs, their football really is just not as good as it should be at times. And I think BOGA really suffered in regards to that. On top of that, you know, managerial changes left, right and centre every single time. How often did that happen at Birmingham City? God knows. And around that time, people are starting to have doubts unfairly on BOGA due to things that are completely out of his hands. So credit to the player for taking his future into his own hands by signing for Sassuolo and leaving the club. As BOGA himself has said, it is true that this is a shame. Aside from that, I have no regrets obviously joining Sassuolo. Each thing comes in its own time. It was certainly not the time for me to play for Chelsea. I always keep that in the corner of my head. If I continue to do what I'm doing, work hard, maybe I will be back one day. I'm telling you guys it's straight. The player is open to a return to the club. So whatever happens is going to be out of his hands. It will come down to the club. But I just think purely when it comes to business sense, you know, we're not in a position where we can just sign marquee players left, right and centre for millions and millions like clubs like Barcelona do, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, etc, etc. For us, we need to mix smart with power. Sign your marquee signings and Sanchos, but also go for your smart acquisitions and your Jeremy BOGAs. Because I'm sorry you guys, can you imagine a front four with Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, BOGA and Sancho? I mean, you're sorted. you're fully, completely sorted, that you can all play in every single position. It would be so unique for us to have this style of player. So many at the club. I'm here for it. I want BOGA back. One of my favorite players of all time. You know, he was the player that really got me invested in Chelsea in the academy due to his unbelievable performance against Barcelona when he was a 15-year-old all those years back. He's a special talent. We're not seeing all of it because he's at a club in Sassuolo that don't really play the same football we have, and most importantly, don't have the same caliber of player to play with. You know, when you go to Sassuolo, you guys, you're using that club as a stepping stone. So that means that you're going to be a lot more individualistic because you're letting other clubs know, listen, I'm good enough. And it seems like it's working because Barca, Napoli, so many clubs are showing interest. It would be foolish not to sign the player. And you guys on that point in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about BOGA? Do you want him to come back? If you don't think he's the right guy to come back, tell me what player you prefer to see. And now we move on to the second story for today. It's in regards to Ruben. It's great news. It's beautiful news, you guys. But Ruben has completed 60 minutes in a behind closed door friendly against Brentford B team. Now, it's the first time that Ruben's played football like this in a very long time. And it's amazing news to hear because that tells us that he is on that perfect recovery back. He is going to play a few more games. He will be involved with the under-23s before returning back to the first team. But honestly, you guys, it's great to see. It's perfect news to hear about. You know, Ruben's really suffered with this injury. He's been out for so long. But most importantly, our team suffered. Our team has missed out on his amazing attacking technical abilities. I think all of us are in the same boat here where we've watched non-stop compilation clips of Ruben throughout the entire season. Look at the way the guy glides with the ball. His center of gravity, the way he uses his body, the feet, the balance, the grace, the elegance, the technique. I mean, this guy's a serious player and I feel justified really supporting the player for such a long time, knowing that if he had the perfect environment and the right opportunity, he could become an amazing world-class player for us. And of course, and obviously you guys, when Ruben does return back, we need to realize that, you know, it might take him a while to fully acclimatize and maybe even trust his body again or get fully back into the groove of things. But again, that's only us making educated guesses. Of course, Ruben and Hudson aren't the same guys. They don't think the same way or have the same mentality. Maybe Ruben might come back stronger knowing that he's been injured before, he's been through it, and it's part and process of being a football player. Now, I'll tell you guys a little theory that I've had, and my theory is maybe the club have been a lot more secretive in regards to Ruben and his fitness report, because obviously they don't want anyone to know. They don't want any rival clubs to really prepare any tactics for us in case Ruben was to feature in the team. And obviously they want the player to suffer with no pressure and to fully focus on his road to recovery. But I'm telling you guys, the second I saw this guy get a fresh haircut, a new trim, I just kind of knew instantly that, okay, is Ruben going to be involved with football in some way, somehow? Is he going to be training even harder with the team? What's happening here? Because this guy's kind of been on a sabbatical with his haircut. We've seen how his hair's been growing over the past few months, you guys. He just got everything clean cut, clean shaved, obviously nice skin fade on the sides as well. And when I saw that, the impression I got was that, okay, he's back in beast mode. He's back in football mode. It must mean that positive news is going to come with us very soon. That news has come, you guys. And if I was to guess, again, my guess, it's only an educated one I'm making. Don't take me up on this, please. But if I was to guess, I'd assume that Ruben could be back at some point this month or maybe early at the start of next month. But anyway, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up with the final story for today. It's a big one from the Evening Standard, and it's in regards to summer transfer plans. Now, of course, I'm not going to try and gas anything up. Of course, with these stories, it's things we've heard about before. When stuff like this comes out, it's my duty and responsibility to give my thoughts and opinions on the news. And this story is brought to you guys by the Evening Standard. They're reporting that we have 150 million to spend and blow. And if you're asking me, I wouldn't be surprised if that 150 million budget became bigger, because that's not taking into account any players being sold, for example. And with our club, anytime we sell players, we like to reinvest it back into signing other players. So 150 million might not sound like too much when you're thinking about, wait, Jadon Sancho is going to be like 120 million, 150 million. That's like our entire budget gone on one player. It's not going to be like that. And anyway, let me just continue on with the story. Evening Standard report that Moussa Dembele has become the #1 priority striker target to sign over Timo Werner. Now, this makes quite a lot of sense. Personally, I've always thought that maybe Liverpool will be a 4-2-3-1 team next season with Werner up front alongside Firmino, obviously Salah, Mane. I think that would suit Werner more because he could play his natural game. But with us, we need a striker that has the abilities and capabilities to hold the ball up, go for long balls, compete aerially. It's not always perfect football every single time. So in those regards, it's no surprise why Moussa Dembele has become the ideal striker to sign to compete with Tammy Abraham. Dembele and Tammy are quite similar stylistically. I know I love saying that word all the time. Get used to it. But again, stylistically, they're the same, you guys. Dembele leads the line very well. He has the ability and the physical presence to hold off his man, hold up the ball, play people in. I think one area of his game which is never ever spoken about, which really surprises me, is his willingness to carry the ball and beat his man. Now, I love my type of Ronaldo strikers, not like Portuguese Ronaldo, but the original Brazilian Ronaldo. That's what I'm talking about. I love a striker that is confident to carry the ball, beat a man, and make something happen out of nothing. Because for me, that's what the very best strikers in the world can do. Dembele has these qualities, and of course, I'm not suggesting that Ronaldo and Dembele are on the same level when it comes to that. There's always levels to everything, of course. But I think it's an area of his game which is very interesting. And with how we play, with how we counter, I feel like all his attributes perfectly fit this team. And I think he'd be a great signing alongside Tammy Abraham. And if you're asking me, he probably makes a lot more sense than signing Timo Werner. The Evening Standard's report then turned to Jadon Sancho, and I'm not going to delve into it too much because it is information that we should all know by now. But the most interesting thing from that article was that the club will not be put off any valuation that Dortmund put on the player. So that's telling all of us that the club are willing to go toe-to-toe with any club, with any man that's trying to go after him. It's what you want to hear. And to be honest, it was to be expected because Dortmund, as I told you guys before in a previous video, they want a transfer bidding war in the summer. So many clubs are interested in signing him. Dortmund want to really profit. They want to earn even more money than Ousmane Dembele. So if you're serious about Sancho, then you have to be serious with the money you're coughing up. And at this point in time, it seems like the club are very, very serious about trying to sign the player. This summer's going to be big. This summer is going to be interesting. I personally feel like we could pull it off. I think we have so many factors working in our favor. And now that we have the money to blow and the wage bill is, flexible enough right now that we can afford to put even bigger players on the wage bill, I feel like we could do something we haven't done for a very long time and actually sign one of the very best young players in world football. Now, if there's one thing to take from these reports on the Evening Standard, that's the fact that the club had a plan. The club were only going to sign the very best players they could. They weren't going to make the same mistake signing B tier, C tier players that, yes, will give us some instant options that we need, but then long term aren't going to help us, aren't going to provide anything. And if anything, their impact's going to be a lot more detrimental if we never sign them in the first place. It's good that we've made ourselves very known to our targets in this window, because the reality is, in the summer, when every club is going to be on the market, it's going to be non-stop competition to sign players. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I feel like it's something people aren't really considering or thinking about too much, but start preparing for it right now. Because if the possibility came that we weren't able to sign a player because competition priced us out, we'd have to accept it because the market is going to be ruthless. It's going to be dangerous. So you need to come with that energy to get the players you want. And I think we're doing the right steps, making contacts with the clubs, the players' reps, agents, etc, etc. We need to do these things to beat the competition, to place ourselves ahead in the running of the rest of these guys. So at this point in time, all I can say is let's be optimistic. Let's see what happens. Let's give the club the benefit of the doubt to secure one of the big names in world football. And you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm the EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later for another video.